Hello and a warm welcome to Deep Insights on Mining Review Africa. My name is Hlengiwe Motaung and thank you once again for tuning in. Our topic for today is on the evolution of health and safety in the South African mining industry. A crucial topic, really, that will highlight just how far the South African mining industry has come with not just productivity, but with the preservation of the lives of the thousands that work underground and on the surface. In 2018, the Minerals Council South Africa launched the National Day of Health and Safety in Mining to demonstrate efforts made by the industry in addressing health and safety related issues. To find out about the progress, we are joined by Dr. Sizwe Phakathi. He is the Head of Safety and Sustainable Development at Minerals Council South Africa. Dr. Sizwe, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Hlengiwe. Thanks for the opportunity.
So, we have seen your numerous presentations on health and safety at the Minerals Council that have proven, as you've just said before we went on air, your passion for getting the safety message across. Briefly tell us about your career background and what propelled you into the health and safety space.
Thank you for that. I can take you back to my university years. That's how I will trace back my response to your question. When I was studying, I studied at Wits University. There was an opportunity at the time where there was what we call the collaborative research program that was focusing on mining at ultra deep levels. It was a consortium under the auspices of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research Mining Technology Division, CSIR. And it involved universities, it involved mining companies, it will involve other research organizations. And there was a technology human resources innovation program of which the Department of Trade and Industry was part of this. So this program looked at extending the life of the mining industry, particularly gold, at the time. From a point of view of technology, technical perspective and geology, there were still ore deposits lying at depths of 3,000 meters or 3 kilometers down the bellies of the earth, So but since the program was multidisciplinary, there was a request by other stakeholders to say, as much as we want to mine at ultra deep levels and extending the lives of these gold mining companies, there will still be people working there. We also need people who will go and talk to workers, frontline workers, because you will need a new kind of employee. What kind of skills? What about the living conditions? What about training? So I was at Wits at the time, just about to embark on my postgraduate studies. I think I was about to do my honors, and that opportunity came, and that's how I got involved in mining, and particularly from the safety point of view. And as I was doing my honors, the Deep Mine program, which I mentioned earlier, then funded my studies. And it meant going to the mines and talking to workers. And I lived in the mine hostel at the time so that I can understand the challenge from the point of view of mine workers. We called that participant observation. I went there with other professors and other research team members, spent an extended time there, and that became the topic of my honors, and I took that to my masters while being a part of the Deep Mine program. And one of the outcomes of the Deep Mine Collaborative Research Project was the development of the next generation of researchers. So I was regarded as one of those, and we had others in other disciplines as well. So a fantastic opportunity that I grabbed as a student. Researched, went underground, and lived the life practically as close as possible, the life of a deep level mine worker. I was not sipping coffee in the office with management or trade unionists.
Yeah.
I would
You were
talk
in the
to
trenches.
management. Yeah, so I would live there, immerse myself in their day-to-day working lives,
Mm,
eating what they were eating in the mine hostels, in the kitchens, sleeping in those shared, compound rooms that were there at the time.
mm,
Things have changed now, but it was still a hostel system where about three to about 5 or 6 workers sharing a room.
yeah.
So that's I would wake up and
Mm,
go underground with them, spend an extended period of time in their workplace, participating in their work activities, being a student to a point that I was just regarded as one of them,
yeah.
keeping my journal. And I went back to university. I wrote this as a research report. I
Mm,
took it to the next level to my master's, same topic extended. Yeah, and one important discovery from that piece of work was the mine workers' informal work practice of making a plan. How do they respond
mm,
to production bottlenecks? When they
mm,
encounter challenges in
yeah.
the working phase or the point of production at the rock phase,
Mm,
and they have these targets to meet. They
yeah.
rely on their experiential knowledge, which
Mm,
in my writings, I call it a double-edged sword,
mm,
because it has pros or advantages when workers get to be able to resolve those challenges relating to safety or
yeah.
production or productivity. They will be commended and praised,
Mm,
uh, especially in situations where it doesn't result in an accident or
mm,
an injury. So they draw a lot from a tacit knowledge or on the
mm,
job experience. But there are cases when I say it's a double-edged sword, to the other side of the coin of this informal work practice of making a plan or mark a plan.
yeah.
If you really take it back to the mining pidgin or the mining lingua franca of Fanaga law, call
Mm,
it Yena Maka plan, it's
mm,
from Afrikaans, but in the Fanaga law language of miners, they call it plan is as taking shortcuts. But
okay.
if it results in
Landisa, you say.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
plan is if
Mm,
it results in injuries, workers will be blamed. But there are a
mm,
variety of circumstances that compel
mm,
frontline mining team members or production crews to engage in such.
mm,
So that was quite an important discovery from my
mm,
work at
mm,
that level as a student to
yeah.
masters, taking it further to my PhD, which I did at Oxford University. And I've published a couple of papers from
Mm,
such research, and some were award-winning
mm,
peer-reviewed papers that I've managed to get from that piece of research. And of course, that has led me to the mining industry, to where I am today, and
mm,
that work has
mm,
definitely, in my view, played an instrumental role in my career to where I am and my
yeah.
contribution to the industry. As I've worked with a number of leading mining companies that have also opened doors for my research,
Mm,
and I've shared my writings, publications, and my
yeah.
thesis to the company that allowed me to do research
Mm.
in their workplace settings.
Dr. Caesar, we are going to touch slightly on the papers that one of the papers that you've published, but I really do want to commend you for having previously gone into the trenches just to understand, you know, a life of a miner and underground, and just to try to know all the facets that involve how a miner works. I think that must have been a significant moment for your career, and it played a huge role, must have played a huge role in where you are today.
Absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember I was in London. Yeah, I mean, I went to Oxford on a Commonwealth scholarship.
mm,
We went on a tour to Windsor, not far from where the Queen lives.
yeah,
I think we went to yeah, yeah, not far from the Windsor Castle, and we met some of the scholarship staff
yeah,
members. And I remember sitting on the table having dinner, and I once said, "What what is your PhD on?" And then I started explaining and said, "Oh, I remember when we were evaluating your scholarships, we came across a topic like this. We wondered about how you were going to pull it and how you're
Yeah.
going to do it, but your proposal convinced us. We're worried about your safety, but
Mm,
I'm glad that I'm
mm,
sitting with you next to me,
yeah.
having this dinner, and for me, definitely, yeah.
A highlight.
Yeah, it started with those deep mind and
Mm,
collaborative research projects while I was at VETS,
yeah.
publishing, doing my honors and masters publications
Mm,
to my PhD, and I wanted to come back after my PhD to plow back and
yeah.
add value, and with all
Yeah.
this knowledge, yes,
Mm,
indeed, it has definitely shaped my career tremendously.
mm.
Anyway,
Yeah, and I think it's also very important and commendable to come back, as you said, to give back and to sow the knowledge that you have given. Many of us, especially today, once we get the knowledge, we never come back. You don't see us back again on our shows. And I think really it is commendable that you are here making a difference in South Africa's mining landscape, pertaining to health and safety. So
yeah,
now,
I mean, look, sorry to cut you there. I mean,
yeah,
my one of the conditions of my scholarship was to
yeah,
go abroad, study in the UK,
mm,
England to be precise, and come back and make a difference in your own country and in
mm,
the spirit of the scholarship itself as
mm,
well. That
mm,
that was good. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, Dr. Sizwe, the purpose of the session, as said previously, is to highlight the vast health and safety differences between then and now. So, in their paper titled Safety in South African Mines, I'm sure you are very much aware of that. This was published in 1988. Dr. Ainsner and J.P. Legger argued that the mining industry was withholding important safety data and not necessarily reporting on all fatalities. But surely, with the general state of development in the industry, things have changed. So now, my question is: how far have we come with reporting? How far have we come with that? And what processes and strategies has the Minerals Council put in place to ensure truthful reporting?
We are very much a transparent mining industry when it comes to reporting
Mm,
health and safety incidents, be it fatalities, injuries, or even occupational illnesses.
yeah.
So we have evolved over the years for the better, you know.
Mm,
And for us, information is crucial.
mm,
It helps us to make decisions. Right now at the Minerals Council, we have a number of initiatives focusing on just data. We are even looking at modernizing our information management systems
mm,
through digitizing,
yeah.
digitizing our safety information,
Mm,
making sure that we have real-time information that helps us to make better and faster decisions.
yeah.
In health and safety, there are no egos. We cannot withhold information. We don't compete when it comes to health and safety.
Mm,
I chair one of the committees of the Minerals Council, the Occupational Health and Safety Policy Committee.
mm,
So one exceptional committee where even non-Minerals Council member companies are able to join, and partake in the
mm,
meetings and other things that we share
mm,
on with that committee members. So we have evolved really for the better,
yeah.
even better than even other industries.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried even the other years, and we've done a study trying to compare how are we doing with our South African construction
Sure.
sector,
Mm, mm, mm,
railway. I mean, what was the other sector? Even other sectors such as iron and ore and
mm,
other factories.
mm,
I can tell you that mining comes terms when it comes to transparency, even better than other mining jurisdictions across the globe, across the
mm,
world.
yeah.
So even better than Australia,
Mm,
in my knowledge, where we always do our international benchmarks.
mm,
Surely, in the early years of mining, as per Jean Ledgers and the other co-author in that paper, which I've read,
mm,
numerous times, I've cited it.
Mm.
Yeah, indeed, we know in the early years, colonial and apartheid years of mining, surely the lives of workers were considered cheap.
Yeah.
Systems were not in place.
Mm.
So the unjust labor practices did indeed
Mm.
affect the
Mm.
reporting.
Mm.
We've seen our industry transforming, the safety and health culture over the years. So one of my tasks as I joined the Minerals Council in 2012, as we were called the Chamber of Mines, we
Mm.
had just initiated a project called the Culture Transformation Framework,
Yeah.
which one of the pillars are focusing on data
Mm.
management information. And we have other stakeholders that we
Mm.
work with today, from government through the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy,
Yeah.
as well as organized labor, the trade unions organizing in the mining industry at the
Mm.
Mine Health and Safety Council, which is a
Okay.
tripartite institution that we are proud of. And it was an outcome of that Leon Commission inquiry
Mm.
into occupational health and safety in the mining industry that was ordered by our first democratically elected president, the late Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela,
Mm.
and it has really ushered a new dawn for
Mm.
the South African mining industry's occupational health and safety, with
Mm.
a revised mine health and safety legislation, the Mine Health and Safety Council itself,
Mm.
which is a tripartite body looking over research that is being conducted on health and safety in the mining industry, advising the minister.
Mm.
So really, we have evolved, and
Mm.
data. Back to your questions, we have evolved for the
Okay.
better,
Mm.
and data for us is crucial.
You said just now that you joined the Minerals Council, then the Chamber of Mines in 2012, and with the lots of data that you've received, on average, which sectors have maintained the highest fatalities and which have been striding?
Yeah, look, our gold and platinum have been giving us challenges over the years, and it has to do with the geology. It's not an excuse per se,
Hmm.
but from the early years of mining,
Yeah.
our ore deposits have been located and are still located in ultra deep levels. I told you about the project earlier on, and many mines have gone deeper. I mean, we
Mm.
had mines like Anglo Gold, Ashanti. Some of those mines have been taken over by Harmony Gold. We still have Sibanye, Stillwater Gold operations,
Mm.
and others, and platinum as well to some extent. There are also deep level hard rock mines. So
Mm.
fall of ground, uh, gravity-induced fall of ground due to rock stresses
Yeah.
and seismicity have proven to be a challenge over the years.
Mm.
And I must say, as much as they are still a challenge for us, giving us sleepless nights,
Mm.
we have introduced initiatives that have made things better. Uh,
Mm.
we're not gonna relax. We still have a lot to do.
Mm.
So, through in 2009, the Minerals Council, or the chamber at the time, um, you know, formed what we called the Mosh Learning Hub, which had to
Yeah.
do with the adoption of
Mm.
leading practices. And we looked at key safety risks. Fall of ground was one. And
Mm.
the innovations that we have put in place in terms of leading practices was mining with nets and bolts,
Okay.
where we mine with nets and bolts,
Mm.
roof bolts, so that should there be a fall of ground, these nets, they trap this.
Yeah.
This many lives have been saved,
Mm. With netting.
with netting. I
Hmm.
mean, I think you were at our fall of ground day of learning end
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
March this year,
Mm.
and some companies that presented there, they
Mm.
did highlight that, we
Yeah.
had
From Harmony, I
testimony.
think I
Yes,
remember one
we
guy
had
from Harmony.
yeah, we had numerous testimonies from frontline employees
Mm.
as well,
Mm.
just from their experience,
Mm.
sharing that how much these nets have been, so meaningful to their lives by saving their lives. So that's one. And if you look at our fall of ground safety performance, it has improved over the years since
Yeah.
we introduced those leading practices.
Mm.
Even when it comes to transport,
Yeah.
I know now I'm telling you about causes, transport related.
Mm-mm-mm.
accidents where you have your vehicle to vehicle interactions,
Yeah.
vehicles to persons interactions. There's a lot of fleet in
Mm,
some of the mines, mobile equipment,
mm,
underground open cast mines.
mm.
So we have a project focusing on collision prevention systems. And
Okay.
with our Mosh Learning Hub, we also had leading practices focusing on proximity detection
Mm,
systems. I'm sure
mm. Yeah.
if you're not driving one of those fancy cars like a BMW, where when you park, it beeps, it warns you when you're
Yeah.
about to. So we have what we call proximity detection systems,
Mm.
or these beacons, where they are sensors, they warn
Sure.
you, So, but accidents still do happen nonetheless, and now we are moving to a point of really engineering out that risk with transport-related accidents, where we want to retard the machines. That
Mm.
even when the operator, for some reason, is absent-minded, is
Yeah.
fatigued, we don't rely on the operator,
Mm.
but these
The
machines can just
system.
fail. They can
Mm.
just curtail, if they're in motion, they just stop.
Sure. Mm.
And you'll find a lot of those fall of ground, mainly in our gold and
Yeah.
platinum, but
Okay.
fall of ground can also happen in other commodities like coal,
Mm.
chrome.
Okay.
We have seen that even in
Mm.
quarries like your sand aggregate type
Mm-mm-mm.
of mining that happens there.
Mm.
But it has been predominantly fall of ground in the gold and platinum, given the geology and the depth and the type of mining, still conventional to a large extent, though our mines are modernizing. But with coal, many of the coal mines are mechanized, and the skill profile of the coal mines is different to those that you find, especially for workers in elementary occupations.
Yeah.
You'll find in gold and platinum coal. We are much more comparable than our peers in
Mm.
other mining jurisdictions in Australia, USA, and Canada, and the
Yeah.
geology there, you more or less, well, I would say you are more comparing
Mm.
apples with apples. So
Okay.
gold, platinum have been our major contributors to
Risky sectors.
fatalities.
Mm.
Yeah, and coal not so much, but not to say coal is not challenged.
Yeah.
I can tell you this year coal has been very challenged.
Mm.
Gold and platinum, I would like to highlight this anyway.
Mm.
With other initiatives that we have put in place. I've just mentioned mining with nets and bolts. I
Yeah.
mentioned the proximity detection systems for
Mm-mm-mm.
transport, mining with nets and bolts for fall of ground. But I must say, in the last 3 years, the other thing that we have observed with our fall of ground,
Mm.
it has been stagnant.
Okay.
We've not been getting this, what, desired step. We've plateaued.
Mm.
So in 2020, we reflected on this, and through our CO Zero Harm Forum at the
Mm.
Minerals Council, which is a health and safety leadership forum of CEOs of member companies,
Mm.
we came to a point that we need and to do more,
Yeah.
to really arrest
Mm.
this stagnant FOG safety performance that we saw.
Mm.
And we launched what we call the Fall of Ground Action Plan last year at our National Day of Health and Safety in Mining, which is a 46 million investment over 5 years.
Mm.
And, that we're looking at things like leading practices again, as I mentioned earlier on. And
Mm.
I must tell you that this year we launched the workplace lighting leading practice at our National Day of Health and Safety in Mining that we held on the 3rd of August
Mm.
this year, focusing on research and development, skills development for and updating the rock engineering material as well, not only focusing on rock engineers, but also frontline employees, issues of policy,
Yeah.
issues of operational discipline, culture, and behavior,
Mm.
as well as implementation and monitoring. And I must say that we've been encouraged in the first 6 months of this year, 6 to 7 months, where our gold and platinum mines remained FOG fatality free. We had not
Mm.
seen this in the years before it was. This is a historic milestone for the industry.
Mm.
We have since had a fall of ground reported in August,
Yeah.
but I must say we are starting to see um, uh, that these actions are bearing fruit for us when it comes to fall
Mm,
of ground. Transport, collision prevention systems, we're working with universities, we're working with
mm,
suppliers as well, we're working with other stakeholders. We are seeing some change,
mm.
some encouraging trends. We saw that,
Progress. Yeah.
especially with trackless mobile machinery
Yeah.
in the first 6 months of this year. However, we still challenge, particularly with our winches in our
Okay.
gold and platinum mines. And to that effect, on the 15th of September this year, we are holding another day of learning,
Okay.
focusing on winches.
Mm,
So it was quite a long-winded kind of response, but
mm.
I think I
We're getting there.
responded mouthfully to that question.
Of
But
course.
gold, platinum. Let me say this thing: a number of mines have made great strides. We're
Strides.
seeing
Mm,
increasing numbers of member companies, even mines, that are going
mm,
for longer periods without fatalities.
mm, 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 mm.
So year in, year out, this number
Yeah.
is increasing. It's very encouraging for us, and
Mm,
it does show that it is possible to achieve zero harm
absolutely.
in our industry. We have awards and some operations, I know, even plant surface operations, they go without even having a scratch.
Fatality or
Yeah.
injury.
So
Mm,
yeah. So
that's amazing.
that's it on that
Mm,
thing.
mm, mm.
Thanks.
No, just to add a little bit on that one, regarding fall of grounds. I mean, that's a major contributor to mine fatalities, and yesterday, in fact, I was at electromining in Nasrec, and I was just walking around in the exhibitors hall, and with the eye of focusing on health and safety, on which technologies, are in to aid with that. I walked past the safety detection systems, as you spoke about, and really the latest technologies with that are quite impressive, and we really hope that they will help with decreasing these numbers. I walked past another exhibition stand where there was LED lighting, which is also quite an important factor with safety. Adequate lighting is quite important for effective mining. I think I also walked past an exhibition stand where they had this new tire clamp, an automatic tire clamp that allows the operator to just clamp it and set step back, so that it can just unbolt itself. And that's amazing. So really, I'm just adding to what you are saying, that it proves that technology is also helping in advancing and making sure that people stay safe in all mining operations. So yeah.
Absolutely, Kenny. I mean, technology, we are embracing technology.
Mm,
And I think that debate has matured.
yeah.
And you mentioned LED lighting. I mean, I
Mm,
mentioned our launch of our stop illumination leading practice at our
yes.
National Day of Health
Mm,
and Safety in mining on
mm,
the 3rd of August. I mean, there's a lot of benefits from that.
mm,
We had testimonies from companies such as Shaft, which is a Northern Platinum mine,
yeah.
Anglo-American Platinum, the Shaba mine. So
Yeah.
you're quite right. And we have entities like the Mandela Mining Precinct in the
Mm,
industry
mm,
working on these technologies, modernizing our mines. That's
mm.
the future. And our hope, we are pinning our hopes on technology as well.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the human relations aspect of things. Is victimization still an issue that miners don't want to risk facing when refusing to work under risky conditions? And how are we dealing with those grievances?
Yeah, the issue of victimization, it's one that we cannot tolerate.
Mm,
I mentioned the culture transformation framework.
mm,
Our industry has transformed
yeah.
for the better. We cannot really condone, autocratic
Mm,
supervisory leadership or
mm,
management styles.
yeah.
We have the Mine Health and Safety Act where employees are empowered.
Mm,
Section 23 of the Mine Health and Safety Act,
mm,
the, an employee has a right to withdraw and refuse working in an unsafe place.
Mm.
Many companies now have whistleblowing systems or where workers can report these things. And we have what we call self-imposed Section 54s, where miners themselves can
Yeah.
stop work. That is
Mm.
encouraged.
Mm.
Through the Mine Health and Safety Council, we issued a guideline
Mm.
on Section 23,
Mm.
how companies can go about implementing this guideline to empower workers
Yeah.
to withdraw from unsafe working uh, areas.
Mm.
Surely, victimization, an area, I think, of frontline supervision. We
Mm.
need to look at that.
Yeah.
And of course, leadership is key to this. The top leadership of companies need to
Yeah.
set the tone and
Yeah.
shape the culture, because such things of victimization has to do with the state of the
Mm.
health and safety culture of that organization. You
Mm.
know, how we
Mm.
do things around here. You
Mm.
know, if
Mm.
such things are happening, it says a lot about the organizational
Mm.
culture of
Mm.
that company where
Absolutely.
workers can be victimized. And
Mm.
that in itself is a hazard.
Mm.
Victimization in itself is a hazard. So, well, that's something that we frown upon heavily,
Mm.
as the body representing organized business in the mining industry. Our CEOs, with the values that they have, our CEO Zero Harm Forum, Leadership Forum,
Yeah.
we have and full attention focusing on these things. We have what we call the Just Culture Accountability
Mm.
Framework,
Mm.
which we launched last year. We developed it. Companies are busy implementing that, ascertaining whether there are any gaps to be addressed and what actions do they need to put in place.
Okay.
Because with the Just Culture Accountability Framework, it's one thing blaming the worker,
Mm.
but what about the role of the frontline supervisor? What about the
Mm.
role of the executive?
Mm.
Maybe
Mm.
that email that was there, that was sent,
Mm.
did, did, did they act quickly enough on
Mm.
it or
Mm.
not? So the
Mm.
Just Culture Accountability Framework, it looks holistically of a variety of circumstances that may have triggered a
Yeah.
particularly non-compliance
Mm.
with a particular incident. Well, workers have to play a role as well. I mean,
Sure.
they're empowered, but again, the issues of making sure that we have what we call the safe production culture
Mm.
and the
Mm.
safe production incentives, bonuses,
Okay.
not bonuses that encourage workers to bypass
Mm.
safety at the expense. I mean, trying to chase targets, production targets at the expense of safety.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it's a holistic thing, and I think we've evolved better with that. There are still challenges. So yeah, but that will be my take.
Yeah.
And our culture transformation framework, it's it says there's a minimum standard under pillar
Mm.
4,
Mm.
which is focusing, I think it's pillar 5, yeah,
Mm.
discrimination, or where we are against any form, be
Mm.
it overt or covert forms of discrimination.
Yeah.
Yes. And victimization, I would call it.
Yeah.
It's something that falls under that, and something that it's not tolerated.
And we do hope our listeners, and being a large majority of minors, after hearing this, will be encouraged to go forth and refuse to work if an environment is not safe to work. And so now we spoke about incentives. You mentioned something about incentives, and that connects to my next question. In the book, Production Safety and Teamwork in a Deep Level Mining Workplace, Perspectives from the Rock Face, you cited that some of the reasons that safety protocols have been overlooked is because workers and supervisors have been more focused on reaching production targets, as you said, that will lead to production bonuses. And should we really focus on bonuses? Should we really focus on bonuses? Is this a question of doing the right work because of getting a bonus, or is it a question of being responsible so that we can preserve life? How have you
Yeah,
tackled that one?
Yeah, I mean, production and safety in our context of mining, that those two things are inseparable. You
Mm,
know, they go hand in hand. There's no way you can really go about your day-to-day production
mm,
tasks
mm.
deep down the mine without really involving safety there. You know,
Yeah.
before you start the work in some mines, in gold and platinum, we have what we call early entry examination
Okay.
and making safe, even in the coal mines. This applies generally to all the mining workplaces, even other industries.
Yeah.
So indeed, I did argue that, and those were the findings of my research at the time.
Mm,
And we still challenged with that. But companies have evolved with time where they've reviewed their production
mm,
systems such that they incentivize safety
mm.
or what we call zero harm
Yeah.
production systems. You know, you incorporate leading indicators, you know,
Okay.
compliance with
Mm,
certain parameters of safety,
mm.
you know, and in
So
such a
this is like a
manner.
reward system.
Yeah, it's a reward system,
Mm,
but that is based on safe
okay.
production. You
Okay.
know, it's balanced between safety and production. You know, it's not either this, not that, but these
Mm,
two things go hand in hand. And
mm.
that's how the incentive scheme is made of.
Okay.
Even top leadership, CEOs, scorecards, balance
Mm,
scorecards now are tied to safety as well. You
mm,
know,
mm,
right from the CEO to the
mm,
to the worker at the point of production at the rock
mm.
face.
On the KPI.
Yeah, KPIs and we have seen Hlengiwe,
Mm,
really profitable and productive mining companies are those that are safer,
okay.
you know,
Okay.
because once you have an injury, a fatality, an accident, we
Mm,
have the regulator. We also impose on ourselves Section
mm,
54s where we stop safety stoppages, you
mm,
know. So and you'll be behind with days. And what does that happen? It does
mm.
affect. It will affect your bonus,
Sure.
your that safe
Sure.
production bonus, you know,
Mm,
because
mm,
now
mm.
you've stopped and you're not gonna reach your targets, your
So
safe
it
production
propels you
targets,
to
you
even
know,
perform in a safe space.
in a safe space and
Mm,
safer minds are productive, profitable minds. Safer production crews are safer and profitable production crews of frontline mining teams. We have
mm,
seen that and we have evolved, and there is more and more of that happening.
yeah.
You know, and I
Mm,
must also qualify it that we still see some challenges that we'll continue working on that
mm,
effortlessly ourselves as the Minerals Council with our member companies as well with other stakeholders and
yeah.
employees as well.
Yeah. No, I'm really grateful that you clarified on that one. I this was not part of the questions that I planned on asking you, but I really must ask it on how is your collaboration with the DMRE, especially the inspector of head inspector of safety, the likes of David Msiza. How are you collaborating with the Department of Minerals in making sure that these standards are met? How is your relationship with them?
It's a very healthy relationship that we have with the regulator, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Our
Yeah.
journey in health and safety, with all the improvements that we have made, it's been a journey of collaboration.
Mm.
You know, there's no stakeholder that can win this
By
battle
themselves.
by themselves. You know, in
Mm,
health and safety, we are one. We don't compete. We
mm,
don't have to agree on everything, but on safe health and safety, most of the times we do agree. You
mm,
know,
mm,
we put our egos aside. It's
mm.
all about saving lives. We have worked tremendously with that stakeholder through the Mine Health and Safety Council.
Okay.
I mean, which is chaired. I mean, we've got the board of the Mine Health and Safety Council, chaired by the Chief Inspector of Mines, currently David Msiza.
Yeah.
We've worked fantastically with the minister as well
Mm,
on the health and safety issues. We had biennial uh,
mm.
summits on mine health and safety. There's one coming in next month where we track progress on
Yeah.
our milestones. We have milestones which have been adopted in the industry on
Mm,
safety,
mm,
culture transformation framework, and
mm,
as well on health, you know, occupational health. So research happening, adoption of research outcomes, R&D
Mm-hmm.
outcomes. So it's been a journey of collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
and we've made great strides together in
Mm-hmm.
working that journey towards zero harm together with the stakeholder. And of course, the stakeholders from organized labor. I would also like to mention them. They've played a tremendous instrumental role
Mm-hmm.
in our journey, and they will continue to do so. We are all in this together.
Certainly, certainly, Dr. Sizwe. Let's just take it on to a light note. What is your prediction into the future? Will we still carry the same concerns and numbers? And what role will the Minerals Council, or what role does the Minerals Council commit to playing going forward?
We remain committed and unwaveringly so
Yeah.
to our goal of zero harm.
Mm,
Our target is zero. As the Minerals Council, we don't put targets to lives.
mm,
So, and we do recognize the devastating impact of injuries, fatalities, and diseases on the loved ones of our colleagues. And we will strive every day to ensure that every mine worker returns home unharmed after each and every shift. Going forward, there are a number of initiatives. We have our Kumbule Kaya strategy as the Minerals Council, which is the connection between the workplace and home. I believe we are focusing on the right things. Fall of ground, I mentioned earlier on, there are initiatives around that.
yeah.
Transport related challenges, safety
Mm,
challenges. We have initiatives around it, backed, supported by
mhm,
our CO0 Forum and the board.
mhm,
Significant financial investments have been made
yeah.
there. I mean, the staff at the Minerals Council, as our CEO always say,
Mm,
staff complement this. A lot of us
yeah.
just on health and safety, even almost half of our
Mm,
budget is
mm,
focusing on
mm,
tackling health and safety challenges. If you know about our National Day of Health and Safety in Mining, every year we launch at our CEOs meet every quarter in each year. We also collaborate, invite other stakeholders. We work with suppliers, with universities. We are embracing technology,
mhm,
a true modernization, innovation. Those
yeah.
are the things that we're looking forward to the future of mining. And of course, we do underline the people-centric adoption of technology. People are
Mm,
still important. We need to put people at the center. And
mm,
the technologies as well, as much as we are adopting them, they will always also come with their certain risks as well.
yeah.
So we may have new kinds of risks,
To consider.
and
Mm,
yeah, to consider fall of ground, transport. We've
mm,
got initiatives, but there's also this basket
mm,
of general type of accidents. We need to unpack that and look
yeah.
at that. We're looking forward to the summit
Mm-hmm.
happening next month, reviewing our progress against the milestones. We have initiatives at the Minerals Council, even learning from incidents as well. The Just Culture accountability framework focusing on culture transformation I
Okay.
mentioned earlier on.
Mm,
So I'm of the view that we're focusing on the right things. And of course, the issues of health and safety are very much part of ESGs now, your
yeah,
environmental, social, and governance issues. Very
absolutely.
important for investors, very important for communities,
Mm,
very important for employees and their families.
mm,
Things that we cannot ignore.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's our focus going forward in this space of health and safety. And of course, focus on health illnesses. I have colleagues working on those things,
Mm,
noise-induced hearing loss, issues of dust as well.
fumes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely commendable and all the best on that one. Lastly, mention any organization, any mining organization that you have observed over the years and that you would like to publicly commend on the progress they've made towards zero harm and why.
It's a number of them. I
Yeah.
mean, I can mention Anglo-American mining operations in South Africa. We've seen that. The likes of Kumba Iron Ore even your hard rock mines such as Anglo American Platinum, we have
Yeah.
seen that
Mm,
going over a year without fatalities.
mm,
I mean, Exaro not so long ago, they had a 5-year fatality-free,
yeah.
remarkable achievement.
Mm,
Black Rock Mine as well has
mm,
been 13 years, over 13 years fatality-free.
wow. Mm,
Um, we have companies, even the Sibanye
mm,
gold operations. There were moments where they've gone, as I mentioned earlier on, very challenged with safety in gold, deep level mines.
mm,
I mean, 2019 Sibanye Stillwater operations gold went over a year without a fatality. The list is quite, long.
mm,
With now and then, we do see these remarkable, encouraging achievements. Companies, shafts, mentioning fatality-free production shifts, million at million hours worked.
mm,
So, yeah, more and more. So it's not just one company thing.
yeah.
Maybe or a few. We've seen that number increasing and
Yeah.
increasing year
Mm.
in, year out. That for us is encouraging. It does tell us that indeed we can achieve zero harm. We can really mine without fatalities.
Dr. Sizwe, at the same time, we do still have organizations that are still grappling and having challenges with regards to safety. What is your message to that?
Let's learn. I mean, let's continue learning from others. And in health and safety, we do not compete. Safety and health is particularly safety. I know sometimes we sound like we're shouting safety and whispering health because health effects they're like a slow burn, latent. You only see the impact later on
Once it's
when you
late.
start not hearing or
Mm,
coughing, but fatalities, accident, boom, here, blood is here, life
mm,
is lost immediately.
mm,
So it's just let's learn from one another. Let's continue to effective risk management, for our operations. I know the challenges are not necessarily the same,
yeah,
but there are principles that can
sure.
be adopted that
Mm,
apply across the board.
absolutely.
And that's why at the Minerals Council and with our CEOs and other forums, leadership forums and other committees, even non-Mineral Council members are welcome to join. And we're going forward now in the next few weeks, months, with the summit where we'll be sharing leading practices and how we have done, how we have fed. So learn from it. Let's adopt, continue to seek, leading practices, best practices. Continue to invest in research as
Yeah.
well. Understand the current challenges of our operations
Mm,
and embrace technology and continue to empower employees. Let's not forget
mm,
that.
mm, mm.
Empower our employees and engineer out the risks of mining, protect the lives of everyone associated with mining, including communities.
Dr. Sizwe, we have come to the end of our session. I'd really like to thank you for sharing your valuable comments on this very crucial matter. And we hope that not only has your message reached mining organizations, but also the entire mining value chain. And this includes also the engineers in the technological space who have a very big role to play by inventing tools that will help us maintain zero harm. Thank you for your time and really all the best in the future.
Thank you so much. Very grateful of the opportunity.
Dr. Sizwe Phakathi, the Head of Safety and Sustainable Development at the Minerals Council South Africa. Thank you to all our listeners for your continued support. Until next time, bye bye.